this video is difficult to make because it involves a lot of really difficult emotions and a lot of politics and a lot of complicated issues. And because it does, I have to simplify some things, but I also have to lay the cards on the table before I can even do that. So this is going to be a long video, and it's unscripted because all of my stuff is, because I'm too stressed to deal with video editing and writing a script and but I also do have to say this so that it's out there. So yeah. So first things first, cards on the table. I'm in a really weird position when it comes to this whole trans and autism issue. I'm in a weird position because I'm autistic, which means I'm on the inside. But I'm also almost a psychologist now, and I work closely with several professionals, which means I'm on the outside too. I'm cis, which means I'm on the outside. But I also remember questioning my gender when I was young. And I happened to be one of the people that it was a phase, and I went through it, and that's that. But I remember what the questioning is like, which is not being on the inside, but it's also not being completely non-understanding, I guess. I'm a Harry Potter fan. I read all the books, I saw all the movies several times. I have Hedwig up there, keeping me safe. I'm going to be keeping Hedwig, but that's not so much to do with it being Hedwig as it is to do with it being a gift from a group of friends that mean a lot to me, and that I also use it for stimming purposes. It's just really good for that. So I'm gonna be keeping, might rename Hedwig. Suggest names or cute little outfits. I'll do something. But yeah, I'm a Harry Potter fan. I am also currently writing a book with Tony Atwood. In the process of writing a book with Tony, which puts me kind of in the middle of what's going on right now. And I have spoken to Tony about this, and I'm not going to be speaking on his behalf, and he has made it clear to me that he doesn't feel that he can make a statement because it's all just really, really explosive. So yeah. One thing that he did say to me is that the statements he made came from the point of a clinician, and that's it. And I get that, and in many ways, I agree, and hopefully I can explain my point of view in a way that doesn't make me Satan somehow. So, first things first, 5.5 minutes into the video, first things first. Yes, biological sex is a thing. It's a lot more complicated than people usually think it is, because it's not just XXXY. There's a lot of weirdness in the biology of it. But it is a real thing. Yeah, agreed. Gender identity is also a thing. It's a major thing. It's important. It's really freaking important. I'm gonna swear in this video. I'm sorry. I am. I'm trying not to, but I'm gonna. Fair warning, there will be F-bombs probably. Gender identity is a really, really important thing. And it is not to be pushed aside. It's not to be belittled. And people who do belittle it, people who say things like the things J.K. Rowling have said with trans women are not women, it pisses me off. It really, really pisses me off. Because they are. Women is an umbrella term. There's a lot of things that fall under the umbrella of what is a woman. I am a cis woman, and a trans woman is a trans woman, but we're both women. So that's there. Hopefully that's... Yeah. So trans people are legit. Their existence, their gender identity, all of that is legitimate and should be supported. Period. Now we get to the other mess. Autistic people are overrepresented. Autistic people are overrepresented. Wow, I can't speak now. Overrepresented. Blah. Overrepresented. Gosh, brain. Okay. I don't know if I'm going to cut this out. Autistic people are a minority. Trans people are a minority. Both are fairly small minorities. They overlap by a huge amount. They really do. And that's not a problem. It's not. It's not a problem that we have to do something about. It's not wrong that autistic people are also trans to a higher degree than the rest of the population. Or that there's a higher degree of homosexuality or bisexuality or pansexuality or gender fluidity or any sort of other weirdness. I use the term weirdness, but weird to me is good. It's diversity. It's awesome. Apologies if I'm stepping on somebody's toes. So all of those things being present in the autistic community to a higher degree than in the rest of the general population. All of those things, not a problem, not something we have to do something about. It's just the way it is. So when we say that there is an overrepresentation of autistic people in the trans population, we have to clarify what we mean when we are putting that statement out there. Because it is true. It is true that this is a thing. But what do we mean by it? What do we hope to accomplish with it? What do we hope to accomplish when we make that statement? Well, so I have to, on behalf of me, not anybody else, but on behalf of me, what do I mean when I say that this is true? First of all, just on the face of it, that it is. And it's interesting because we don't know why. And it would be interesting to find out why, which means that we need qualitative studies. We need interviews. We need knowledge. We need knowledge out there. We just do. But what are we then going to do with that knowledge? And this is where this becomes very political and very very explosive and very difficult, because when you're autistic, you're used to your existence being delegitimized, and when you're trans, you're used to your existence being delegitimized. People who want you to change, people who want you to not be what you are, you're used to hearing that kind of a lot. And so when you hear something like there's an overrepresentation, you hear this is a problem that we have to do something about. There should be less trans autistic people. This is what you hear. This is not my opinion. I understand why this is what you hear. And I'm sorry that that is what you hear. I am sorry that your experience in the world tells you that this is what people are saying. And I'm sorry that so much of the time you're right. I'm genuinely fucking sorry that when people say things like this, you are so often right to assume that they're attacking your existence. I don't want that to be true. But it is, and I acknowledge that. I come from it from a different perspective than that. I don't want there to be less trans autistic people. I don't want there to be less trans people. I don't want there to be less autistic people. And I don't want there to be less trans autistic people. I want trans autistic people to be safe. I want them to have the support they need. And because I want them to have the support they need, I want there to be knowledge. I want science to investigate genuinely why this overrepresentation is a thing. I want to know why, because we don't know why. And because we don't know why, we can't help. And on top of that, and this is probably my main thing, is that so a lot of these studies are apparently really flawed, and I'm really, really bad at statistics, and I'm really bad at that part of things, so I have to trust what I'm hearing, which is bad. It is. But if the rate of autistic youth at youth gender clinics is as high as reported in some cases, upwards of around 47%. I don't think it necessarily is, but if it is, then okay. But if it is, then what that tells us is that the staff at youth gender clinics, they need to be educated in autism, not just in gender studies and in the medicinal aspects of gender or sex transitions and gender identity issues. They need all of that, but they also need to be educated in autism, because if they're sat there with autistic children and teenagers who are there for interviews and treatment and everything that goes into that process, that staff need to know how to communicate with autistic people. And there are genuinely autistic people that want to transition for all the wrong reasons. And hopefully those are caught all the time, and the issues that they actually want to solve are solved, and hopefully that they will figure out how to live a happy and fulfilling life. There are also a lot of autistic people that want to transition for all the right reasons, and they need support, just like the former group do. They need support to transition. But in order to give them that support, staff need education. Staff need training. And so to me, and I don't know why I feel like I have to make a 20-minute long video to make this statement, because it's such a simple statement, but it's also just so scary because of all the people who want to delegitimize both autistic people and trans people. It's just that yes, there is an overrepresentation here. We don't understand it. We should understand it. And the reason we should understand it is so that we can give the correct support. And for that reason, we need to listen to trans autistic people and not billionaire authors who don't believe that trans women are women. Because when she makes the statement that there is an overrepresentation, she's saying there's a problem somehow. And there isn't. Well, there is a problem, but the problem is that we don't know how to give the correct support. And we need to do that. Because the fact is, when you grow up autistic, the likelihood that you're going to be traumatized in some way is really high. And when you grow up trans, the likelihood that you're going to be traumatized is really, really fucking high. But when you grow up both, that likelihood is just kind of a combination, you know? And so in order to know how to best support trans autistic people, we need to listen to trans autistic people, which is also why I say that we need qualitative studies. We don't just need numbers. We need stories. We need inside perspectives. We need to know what it is like to be a trans autistic person, not just as an adult, but as a teenager, as a child. What do you need? What would you have liked? what are your perspectives on why there is this overrepresentation? What factors do you perceive that should be looked into? Not be looked into in order to take away your ability or other people's ability to transition, but to best support the people that are trans and that are either in the process of seeking a transition or going through it. We need to know how to support people. That's all I'm saying. And my call for studies, my call for we need to investigate this, is based in that we need to know how to better support trans autistic people. And that's it. And so I hope that is not a bad position to hold. Because I just want there to be help available. I just want support to be available. Good support, educated support. And I know that right now, in a lot of places, there isn't. And there should be. Just plain and simple, there should be. So I hope that clarifies my position for anyone who wanted to know. I don't know why you want to know, but it's possible, and there it is. It's weird for me being both on the inside and on the outside of topics like this, and I am in so many other regards as well. Being on the professional side of things is different and weird, but and this is the part where I criticize, and this has nothing to do with the former issue actually, but this is sort of a tag on. I see really, really amazing professionals working so hard to give autistic people, all autistic people, the support that we need. And sometimes it's difficult for us to trust that they genuinely want what's best for us, because we do so often meet people who don't want the best for us. And so I understand that it's difficult to give that trust. But they are out there. And these people, they work their asses off for us. And so I hope, I genuinely hope for every autistic person out there that you are lucky enough to have one of those professionals in your life and experience that support. And also sometimes when they falter, because they do, because there are so many of us that need support, and they're trying to help everybody, and there aren't enough hours in the day. So when they falter, sometimes we have to know how to forgive and how to speak up about what we need from them instead. Professionals need education too, from us. And we need to let them know how to be allies. And we also have to forgive them for not being perfect, because people aren't. And that's just sort of a general life thing that I'm learning, I guess. People out here are just trying to help each other. And I don't know, there's good people in the world. Support each other. Band together. Good things will come, hopefully. I don't know. I hope that if the research is done that I want to see, I hope that it's done by people who are genuinely respectful and genuinely supportive, because we do need it. Because if we don't have the knowledge that we need to understand this issue, then the training that we can provide to the people who need it will be subpar, and it shouldn't be. So I don't know how to end this video. I'm just rambling on. Stay safe, you guys. Yeah. Good things, good vibes, something. Keep swimming. I'll see you guys sometime.